Hello, welcome to Monday's Knots Today with me, Al Booth. I hope you're well. Hope you've had a lovely Christmas, are having a lovely Christmas in fact. Here's what's on the show for you today. We're going to hear concerns about new housing on Tollerton Airfield. That's after a consultation opened on plans for thousands of homes.
Well, as a pilot it's very valuable, but I think it goes much wider than that. I think there's immense community value. People come here to the cafe, there are businesses here. It's a tremendous place.
Now we are in that weird period between Christmas and New Year, and for all Christmas can be a time of coming together. It can also be a lonely time too. We're going to be chatting to the co-founders of charity Not Alone about the support on offer at this time of year and in fact all around the year as well. And this time of year can also be challenging for people trying to balance work and kids. We'll be talking to an illustrator trying to support small business owners at this time of year. Amy Lupin is juggling a thriving art studio and a young child as well. She's here later to talk about how she's putting the spotlight on work-life balance during the festive period. Later on in the show, we're going to be chatting to two members of the National Youth Orchestra as well, ahead of their showing in Nottingham next week. A 160-piece orchestra will take over the Royal Concert Hall in a week's time. Later on, we're chatting to two musicians who'll be performing. One of them is from Notts as well. They're coming home. And aren't Forest meant to be fighting relegation at Christmas? Wasn't that the prediction? It's not quite happened that way, is it? We're going to have all the sport from Nottinghamshire, including Nuno's men, who are second in the Premier League.
It was a tough game. I think we compete really well. We were organised. I think we were able to control, especially the moments that Everton are so dangerous.
There you go, got all that and loads more coming up just for you. First though, this time of year is all about the twinkly lights and too much good food. This buttoned up last week, you know. Also good company as well, but it's not always the case for everyone. So for lots of people it can be a lonely time. However, a Nottinghamshire County Council funded charity is helping to support young people in the county. Not Alone offers a dedicated website displaying numbers and contact information for organisations right there and all across here in Nottinghamshire. And its co-founders, Dr. Maddy Papula and Dr. Orla Green, are here now to talk all about it. Thank you for coming in.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You know, it is, isn't it? It's the whole, I know, the medium, we're part of that, and everything coming up to Christmas, TV adverts, TV shows, is all about the being together with friends and family and overindulgence, but the actual reality is quite different for a lot of people.
It is, and I think people who suffer with loneliness are not necessarily people who are actually lonely as well. I think it's thinking about what that means. We can be around a lot of people and still feel lonely, and I think Christmas is often a time for reflection. So it's also often a time that we think about perhaps loved ones that we've lost and that kind of thing. So we can kind of revisit past traumas at a time like Christmas as well. So yeah, it can be really difficult for a lot of people over the festive period.
Yeah, I think it's important as well to realise that people of all ages can feel lonely. So some research in Nottingham recently found that people aged 18 to 25 were reporting the highest levels of loneliness compared to other age groups. And I guess that's important, isn't it? If you think about your friends, your family, who might be different ages, who might not automatically think might be lonely, it's important to be aware that it's something that affects everybody and throughout the year as well, not just at Christmas. I think it's particular pressure around socialising, around being happy, being festive, but actually it's really important to recognise that it's a normal part of human life, and at some points in people's lives it can sort of rear its ugly head and be quite overwhelming. But I think the main thing that we're here today to say is that you're not alone, and that's where Not Alone comes from. It's a website where there's information.
That's just very good,
exactly,
isn't it? And it's great that you're in knots, because that really works.
This is what we wanted to do. It was all about developing a local resource for local people. So it actually started, so Orla and I both work with children and young people, and it started with a website for children and young people to support and provide information, advice and guidance for their mental health. And we're delighted that it's now an all-age website. So people can, anyone from Nottingham and Nottingham City, Nottinghamshire, can go onto the website and find information, advice, guidance and signposting. I actually went on last night in preparation for today to have a look at our loneliness tile. And if you go on there, there's so many different groups and organisations locally that you can access if you do, want to kind of get out and look for that support. So,
what's the loneliness tile?
So when you go on the website, what we've done with it is we've designed it by kind of how somebody's feeling. So rather than go on and search for, I want to access this service or this service, because often you wouldn't know that going onto a website. So we've designed it for anyone to go on and sort of say, I'm feeling like this. And then they can kind of go through a user experience of, so I'm feeling lonely. And then it will guide you into an experience of finding resources, finding groups you can access, that kind of thing.
Stories of people who've been through the same thing, and, you know, have top tips on how to help, how to reach out, things like that.
Okay.
And I think around Christmas in particular, you know, an idea around addressing loneliness is about trying to do things that you enjoy and trying to get around people where you can feel like you can be yourself. So it's not always necessarily about being around loads of people, but it's about being around trusted people that you enjoy spending time with, and not necessarily in person either. So lots of people via social media and online activities can find social connection that makes them feel less lonely. So I think it's about like opening up your thinking, and there's some really good stuff on Not Alone, like the Big Green Book, which is about like getting out in nature clubs and activities all around Nottinghamshire. And there's another really good website called Meetup, and it's just social activities, loads of different things. You can find people who are into the same thing as you. You can get out and about and get involved. And if you are really struggling to find out a way to get into these activities yourselves, if you speak to your GP, they can do something called social prescribing, and that's about helping you to connect with these groups. And there's also people they can help to go to the activities with you that can help you find the right one and things like that. So there's lots of help out there, and Not Alone, I guess, is the place to start.
Yeah,
and I think
sounds ideal.
Yeah, the main thing is, you know, we need to talk more about mental health.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, there's still, I think, a kind of a stigma around us having this conversation, and actually it's really, a lot of this is so normal.
Yeah,
you know?
and I think we are getting better at it, but loneliness is something that maybe you just think of in a particular age bracket, but you're right, it affects everyone. So thank you so much for coming on, and Merry Christmas. Do we still say that? I'm going to say that. Happy New Year. Let's go with that. Yeah, thank you. And of course, if you or anyone you know needs support, you can use any of the services we've mentioned just then, or you can access Samaritans on the phone. It is 116 123, or on email, joe@samaritans.org. That is jo@samaritans.org. Now, on Nots Today, we've been telling you how Nottingham City Airport at Tollerton is facing closure. The operators have warned businesses and pilots that its runways could close permanently next year. Jack Sims has been to find out more.
For its near 100-year use, Tollerton Airfield has seen all sorts of wonders land on its runways, from fighter planes to police helicopters. But for house building on the site, there seems to be struggles with the takeoff. In 2020, plans were submitted to Rushcliffe Borough Council to see a phased development of more than 4,000 homes, delivered by various housing developers. Business owners, pilots and residents have banded together to try and block these plans. This includes the Save Nottingham City Airport Group, which says that the runways are essential for training pilots, supporting businesses and providing a landing and refuelling site for the East Midlands Air Ambulance. This month, developers Taylor Wimpey and Barwood Lands submitted their vision for the area. That would see more than 2,250 homes, a primary school and a local centre built to the north of the site, near the A52. But before these plans can be reviewed, a public consultation has been launched on the council's website, prompting more than 500 objections. Many of these are concerned with infrastructure, wildlife and the loss of a unique site. But some residents have supported the plans, saying Rushcliffe needs the housing. We've been to speak with some pilots and residents about how they would be impacted if the housing was approved.
Well, as a pilot, it's very valuable, but I think it goes much wider than that. I think there's immense community value. People come here to the cafe, there are businesses here. It's a tremendous place.
There's hardly any other airports around here. We can build houses in many different places, but you can never replace an airport.
Well, it'll be really sad because the kids really enjoy the planes flying over the houses. We've been coming here for nearly 11 years, so it's our go-to because the kids just love the aeroplanes, and it's great because it's a local facility.
A statement by Rushcliffe Borough Council reminds residents that As with all applications of this nature, we formally consult technical consultees, ward members, parish councils and local residents. We cannot determine any application for the site until the master plan or SPD is in place. Although there is still no set date for services to be grounded at City Airport, January 31st is the deadline for residents to give their plain views on the plans. Jack Sims for Notts TV.
A man has been arrested on suspicion of rape after a woman was sexually assaulted in a Nottingham park. The incident happened about 3 in the morning on Saturday, December the 21st in Victoria Park off Bath Street in Sneinton. Police placed a cordon and up patrols in the area and carried out several lines of inquiry, including a public appeal. They've now confirmed a 19-year-old man was arrested on Friday on suspicion of rape, and the victim is being supported by specially trained officers. 8 people have been arrested after a man was stabbed to death in Ilkeston. 18-year-old Noah Smedley was found with multiple stab wounds on Rose Avenue at 8:20 on Saturday evening and died nearby on Hainer Road just before 9 p.m. An appeal was launched by Derbyshire Police. 8 arrests have been made, including 5 17-year-olds on suspicion of murder and a 52-year-old man and 2 girls aged 15 and 16 on suspicion of assisting an offender. Now, coming up, we'll have a full sport roundup after some huge festive football results for Forest and County and a win for Mansfield as well. Also, if you're trying to juggle self-employment and parenting, we'll tell you how to next. Hello, welcome back to Monday Show. It is Monday. I know it's confusing at the moment. It's definitely Monday. I'm Al. Thank you for being here with us. This is what's happening in Notts today. And a driver has been left in a serious condition after a single vehicle crash on Christmas Day. Emergency services were called to the incident on the A617 near Broadgate Lane in Kelham just before 11 o'clock last Wednesday morning. The road was closed while the incident was dealt with, and the driver is a man in his 60s and was airlifted to hospital. Nottinghamshire Police launched an appeal for anyone with dashcam footage of the incident and said you can contact them on 101. And the leader of Nottingham City Council hopes a land sale deal for the City Ground can be completed with Nottingham Forest early in the new year. The Labour-run authority agreed to make the land available for sale back in July as part of negotiations with the club to expand the stadium. The deal is critical for Forest to achieve its redevelopment plans, and Councillor Negat Khan, who leads the authority, said the council hopes to conclude the sale for an undisclosed fee by the end of the current financial year next March. Just in time for Champions League football, possibly. And we'll be talking more Forest news on the way, and we've got loads more sport as well. First though, it is time for another great chat, and it is currently a time when most of us take some time off for Christmas and New Year. Put your feet up, don't have to worry about anything. However, figures from Tesco Mobile recently showed more than a quarter of female small business owners work up to 10 hours a day at this time of year and take little to no holiday around Christmas either. One of those is Nottingham illustrator Emmy Lupin, who runs an art studio in the city and works with brands like Adidas and Sega, but also balances all that with raising a small baby. She's here now to talk about how it all works. Thanks for coming. How on earth do you do it then?
Well, I guess it is a lot. It is a lot. But I think the thing is, with the research, the research from Tesco Mobile said that, over a quarter of women don't take any holiday when they have their own businesses, and they work 10 hours a day. And that is true, but I do really love my business, so I will make it work. And, it's totally worth it to be able to run my own business. But I do have to say, yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. But
parenting's a lot anyway, isn't it?
Oh
so how old's your daughter?
She's just turned 1.
Oh wow.
Yeah, she's just turned 1. So I basically I have a studio in Sneinton Market, and I got the keys to that at the same time that I learned I was pregnant. So last year was kind of opening the art shop, having the baby, running the business. If I can get through that, then.
I was going to say, because both those things on their own are full on.
Yeah,
anyway.
yeah, 100%. But But I love running my own business. And
what do you do in your business though? So I know it's art, but what sort of stuff do you do?
So I'm a freelance illustrator. I work with brands. So I've worked with like Adidas, Sega. Had a clothing line with Nasty Gal last Christmas. So I work on a lot of commission work, but I also sell art prints, cards, and like kind of homeware, illustrated homeware. So I sell all of that online, and then now I have the studio come shop in Centre Market where I work from there, but also I have it open as a retail space. So
okay.
Yeah.
And then little baby as well.
And a little baby.
So, 10 hours a day, because if you do get a 9 to 5, chances are it's 8 hours a day, an hour for lunch, so it's 7 hours a day.
Sure.
But where do you fit it in?
What, evenings, weekends, nap time. I think also like calling on your family, friends. I do have a really like strong support network, and I think a lot of my friends and family do really support what I do, so that really helps, and they're willing to help out, when I have to do markets or, stuff like that as well. I do get a lot of help, but I don't know. Also, it's a creative job, so you can't put a time on some stuff. Stuff takes what time it takes, and sometimes it takes long for it to be good. So I just have to, squeeze it all in. And I think that's why the research really resonates with me, because I think, I do live and breathe my work, and I do not take time off, but
I suppose it's your passion, isn't it?
Yeah,
so of course you want it to work, and you enjoy
100%.
doing it.
Yeah.
But it's still work at the end
It's
of the day.
still
isn't
work.
it?
And
when so if you're working with Adidas and you're working with Sega and you're working with these big companies, are they understanding of you being a mum and a small business owner?
Yeah, I think so. I think as well now I'm really hard and fast with it. Like if you want to work with me, sometimes the baby is going to have to be on the call, or do you know what I mean? Like I will have to work around stuff, and I think more so now probably people are more understanding.
Yeah.
But because I do run my own business, I'm able to say that. Like I'm the boss, so I'm like I have to work around this. So if brands want to work with me, then they kind of have to work around that as well. But this is the thing with being freelance, I will always work weekends, evenings, whatever I need to do to get the job done. So as long as the job's done, then I think it's all good. But I think people are understanding for sure now, much more like in the last few years maybe.
Because my career's been freelance one way or another as well, so I get it. But it's those sacrifices, isn't it? It's sometimes you wait for the children to be asleep and your partner to nap on the settee, and you go, right, I could watch a film or I could do what I haven't had a chance to do in the daytime. Yeah,
and I think sometimes as well, you do want that 5 minutes to just like decompress, but I think when you've got your own business, if I just know if I'm not going to do it, it's not going to get done. So it has to get done, and I want to have this business, for a long time, and I want it to be successable. And I think because of that, I will work all the time.
So it's really important to have people around you, though, isn't it? Like you say, that community, those people to lean on, not 100%. Just with childcare, but just to let go to. Really.
Yeah, and like a local creative community as well. Nottingham's amazing for all its independence, and I think having that like creative community, other freelancers, other illustrators in my kind of circumstance that I can talk to that maybe are at the end of like a text, an Instagram DM, all that kind of stuff I think is really important as well. So you don't feel like so alone in it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for finding the time to come on. How have you done that? And whenever you get to sleep again, enjoy that.
Thank you.
Whenever that may be. Right, sports now, and we're of course going to start with Nottingham Forest. They are second in the Premier League. At the start of the season, pundits were putting Forest just above relegation place, but there's turkey still left in the fridge after Christmas Day. The prospect of Champions League football is very real as well. A 1-0 Boxing Day win over Spurs at the City Ground and a 2-0 win over Everton at Goodison Park means 2 clean sheets and 5 wins in a row for Nuno Espirito Santo's side. Speaking after that Everton game, the head coach couldn't praise his players enough.
It was a tough game. I think we competed really well. We were organised. I think we were able to control, especially the moments that Everton are so dangerous with these balls on the channel, the second balls, and they don't give you time to reorganize because the tempo is very high, and the players adapt really well to their circumstances, and we defended well. I don't recall too many situations that Matt did well in the second half to keep us on the game.
Notts County were also in second in League Two thanks to 2 festive wins. They started off with a 2-0 win away at MK Dons on Boxing Day and then came out on top of an 8-goal thriller away at Cheltenham yesterday. That result means 3 wins on the bounce heading into New Year's Day when they'll face table toppers Walsall at home. After the Cheltenham game, head coach Stuart Maynard said his side are in form, but there's still a long way to go in the season.
I talked about it at Salford after the game, how frustrated we was with the performance and how the group have responded, and we knew that we had it in the group, and I said it all along, we needed to make sure that we get into the round Jan, our injuries will start coming back, and we needed to be single figures off of the teams in and around us, and we've put ourselves in a good position, but there's still going to be bumps in the road, there's still going to be ups and downs in this season. Like, we've got to go again in 2 days, which is crazy really, because we've got bodies that we're going to have to patch up again and get out there.
In League One, it was a festive period of mixed fortunes for Mansfield Town. They got a win and a loss, starting on the road on Boxing Day with the comfortable 3-0 win against Peterborough. Stags couldn't make it 2 for 2 yesterday, though. They lost 2-1 away at Reading. That leaves them in 11th. Although speaking after that Reading loss, Nigel Clough said he felt his players could have come away with more.
I thought we controlled the game for the rest of the first half after they went ahead. I thought we were a bit unlucky with both goals today. It was bobbling around in the middle of the pitch for the first one, all of a sudden pops to the lad and he put somebody clear and just onside. And then the second one, Will's given a daft free kick away. He's chased back 60 yards, but don't give the free kick away. And then it can go anywhere in the 6-yard box. I think Christie's got a hand on it, somebody else has got a touch, and the lads ended up flicking it in with like a half an overhead kick, I think. So we had more than enough of those situations ourselves in their 6-yard box, but it didn't quite drop.
It's been a busy festive period for the Nottingham Panthers as well. They have played the Sheffield Steelers home and away. They got a win and a loss to add to their Elite League standings. Starting in Sheffield on Boxing Day, Panthers left the Steel City with a 4-2 win. And then the Steelers came to the Motor Point on Saturday and left with their own win after beating the Panthers 3-2. Afterwards, head coach Danny Stewart said there were positives and negatives to his side's performance on the day.
We did a lot of good things there, created some chances. I thought we're maybe a bit unlucky not to leave that period with a lead. Second period, simply Sheffield was just better than us. They upped their urgency, and I think we lost ours a little bit. And then we started pushing, forcing things when we didn't need to. And, obviously coming to the break 3-0 down. But, credit to the guys. They came out in the third with that urgency that we needed.
And you can see all 5 goals from the side's loss against the Steelers right here on Notts TV on Wednesday evening at 9 p.m. And then on Friday, we'll have all the action from their home game against Coventry Blaze. So you can see them right here on Notts TV. In rugby, Coventry were also the opponents for Nottingham, who saw off the first half of the season in style. The Archers scored 6 tries to secure a 41-26 point victory over the second place side, ending a 6-game winless run against their opponents in the process. Nottingham scored in the 17th minute and didn't look back, going into half-time with a 7-point lead. The win lifts them up to 4th, that's 3 points behind Coventry. It's the last time they're going to play for 3 weeks. Photo of the daytime now, and lovely shot this of Wilford Tollbridge taken by Mikenda Louise on Instagram. Time for your weather now. Temperatures are going to drop down to 8 degrees overnight. Tomorrow it's going to be a cloudy one. Highs of 11 degrees though, dropping to 6 into New Year's Day, Wednesday, when we still see some showers in the afternoon. If you are going out for a late evening walk on New Year's Day, wrap up warm though, because it's going to drop to -1. No snow that they talked about there. We've been all right with that, I think. Right, on the way, we're going to meet a Nottingham author who's releasing a new book about being resilient for teens. Find that next. Hello, welcome back to Monday's show with me, Al. It's New Year's Eve. Nobody calls it that, quite rightly too. This is what's happening in Notts today. Multiple e-scooters and bikes were seized by police over Christmas, all as part of a crackdown on illegal vehicles in Nottingham. Officers targeted Trinity Square and the Lace Market across 3 hours on December the 23rd. They spoke to 13 riders to educate them about the law. 6 e-scooters and 4 e-bikes were seized for being illegal. Officers also seized 2 motors and a battery from 3 e-bikes. Current laws mean that private e-scooters can't be ridden on public highways or in public spaces, while e-bikes must not travel faster than a very specific 15.5 miles an hour. Now, Nottingham's tram operator has confirmed prices for its discounted annual season passes. Passengers will be able to get their hands on the equivalent of 2.5 months of free travel if they buy an annual pass next month. It's because NET, which runs the city's tram network, is dropping the price of the annual season ticket from £725 to £525. That works out at £1.44 a day. The offer runs from the 1st to the 31st of January. Right, time for your What's On guide now, where we have a look at what you can get up to if you've still got any energy to go out and socialise. To kick it all off, maybe you're keen to burn off some of those calories that may have gathered on over Christmas. There's a Zumba dance class tonight. You can enjoy the sweet sound of Latin music while getting some exercise. You don't need to be a member to join, you can simply turn up and pay on the door. It's at Christ the King Church Hall, that's just in Alfreton, it's at 7 p.m. Or if you fancy different kind of music, you can head to DJ Kai's New Year Motive at Saltbox. That runs all the way up until 10 in the city. You can enjoy that, or if you're saving yourself for New Year's Eve, have fun, whatever you get up to. Right, time for our next great guest now. This is all about someone who's about to release their second book in just a few days' time. It's Nottingham author Becky Goddard-Hill. She's written her second book to help teens build up their resilience when tackling dips in wellbeing. How I Feel is aimed at teenagers and contains 40 wellbeing activities designed to give children the tools to cope with a whole range of different emotions. She's here now to tell us all about it. Hello. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
So it's quite an overwhelming time of the year anyway, isn't it? Especially if you've got hormones raging and you're on those teen years, but that's all year round for teens, isn't it?
Absolutely. A lot of them are just about to face their mock exams, thinking about heading to university next year or choosing their GCSEs. There's a lot of pressure in the teen years.
So what's in the book then? What inspired you to write it?
So NHS England did a report last year that discovered, sadly, that 20% of young people from the ages of 8 to 16 are struggling with their mental health. We know from research that resilience and being resilient is a hugely protective factor. That ability to bounce back, not get completely overwhelmed or defeated by challenges, is something that really helps young people face these tricky times. You know, teens have always been quite turbulent, haven't they? You know, as you say, hormones are raging, there's lots of pressures on them. And we know if they know how to help themselves and to stay strong, they can face these times better. So this book contains 40 different topics, all related to the teen years. So it might be social media, friendships, romantic relationships, school pressure, and has a bit of guidance, all backed by neuroscience, on ways teens can cope better.
Okay, have you got some examples? Because I've got 11-year-old niece and a 12-year-old niece, but 11 and 12, think they're teens anyway. They're in that ballpark.
Absolutely. Well, one thing that often happens in the teen years is that young people become more emotional. Their emotional brain is developing really fast and the logical brain isn't completely developed till they're 21. So this is why they tend to be more emotional about things that are going on for them. And one of the activities in the book is about not dwelling. If you dwell too much on your problems, we say don't dwell or your problems swell. If they stay too stuck going over and over what's wrong, they're going to make it bigger and bigger in their brain. And the book explains to them if they just take a break from their worries and go and do something entirely different, laugh at a TV show, have a bath, have a walk, chat to their grandma, do some baking. When they've finished and their mind has calmed down, they will be able to re-look at their issues much more clearly and make much better choices. So it's just explaining very simple concepts like that distracting yourself isn't saying my problem doesn't matter. It just means when my mood shifted, I will be able to be more solution focused. And it gives them lots of little nuggets like that. Okay. Another one is glimmers, trying to look in their day about what's gone well or what's made them feel good. It might just be stroking a cat, it might be the sun on their face, it might be they had a great lunch. But thinking about those things, talking to somebody else about them, what were your glimmers today, means you're refocusing on the positive and realising that not all of your day was bad. And that then becomes a habit and your brain starts to seek them out because it thinks, oh, this is important to you, rather than just focusing on the negative. So it's giving them a lot of little tips like that can really help them feel stronger.
That sounds like good advice for anyone, though. That doesn't sound just like...
Absolutely.
I was just listening to what you're saying. I go, I could use that.
Yeah, it is.
Because as an adult, you get...
All
you know, you have all
self-help
this.
principles, whether you're a young child or you're an older person, tend to be universal. So this is very much written for teens in that they are short chapters, there's some cool graphics, it's very accessible. Not that many teenagers read lots of books these days, so we've made it really bite-sized and accessible, but the principles are the same no matter how old you are. It's about working on your mindset, really, and taking action to help yourself, because therapy, there are hugely long waits for teens for therapy. You know, it's expensive if you have to go privately. And actually, a lot of the time, it's just about switching things up a bit. You don't need hours and hours and hours of interventions. You just need some good guidance. And teens typically don't tend to listen to their parents' guidance.
Yes.
But will often sit with the book and think, oh, I might give that a go.
And also, I guess, if you are a parent or an adult carer, you can read this, not necessarily pass it on to your teens, but have it up there.
Absolutely, have it up there and just drop it into conversation. My favourite topic in the book is one about advice, and it's about saying to your teen, do you want to be hugged, heard or helped? Because often we get it wrong with our teen. We go in with advice, they don't want advice. We give them a hug, they don't want to be touched. So ask them, do you want to be hugged, heard or helped? And eventually, hopefully, they will take on board that they can ask for the support they need rather than expecting us to mind read and then being angry.
I love that.
Yeah, there's lots of useful little tips in there.
That's going to stay with me for life when my kids get older, I think. Just remind us what it's called and where we can get it.
It's called Be Resilient, Be You. It's out in 2 days.
Fantastic. And we can get it online?
Online at Amazon, or it's available in Waterstones.
Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank
you. Now, time for a reminder of your top story now. Over the last few weeks, we've been following the situation at Nottingham City Airport at Tollerton. It's facing closure after the site's operators warned that businesses and pilots could have to move because the runways are facing closure permanently next year to make way for thousands of homes and a school. Now, a consultation on the housing plans has launched. It's been launched by Rushcliffe Borough Council and gives the public and objectors a month to have their say on the plans. Jack Sims has got more.
For its near 100-year use, Tollerton Airfield has seen all sorts of wonders land on its runways, from fighter planes to police helicopters. But for house building on the site, there seems to be struggles with the takeoff. In 2020, plans were submitted to Rushcliffe Borough Council to see a phased development of more than 4,000 homes, delivered by various housing developers. Business owners, pilots and residents have banded together to try and block these plans. This includes the Save Nottingham City Airport Group, which says that the runways are essential for training pilots, supporting businesses and providing a landing and refuelling site for the East Midlands Air Ambulance. This month, developers Taylor Wimpey and Barwood Lands submitted their vision for the area. That would see more than 2,250 homes, a primary school and a local centre built to the north of the site, near the A52. But before these plans can be reviewed, a public consultation has been launched on the council's website, prompting more than 500 objections. Many of these are concerned with infrastructure, wildlife and the loss of a unique site. But some residents have supported the plans, saying Rushcliffe needs the housing. We've been to speak with some pilots and residents about how they would be impacted if the housing was approved.
Well, as a pilot, it's very valuable, but I think it goes much wider than that. I think there's immense community value. People come here to the cafe, there are businesses here. It's a tremendous place.
There's hardly any other airports around here. We can build houses in many different places, but you can never replace an airport.
Well, it'll be really sad because the kids really enjoy the planes flying over the houses. We've been coming here for nearly 11 years, so it's our go-to because the kids just love the aeroplanes, and it's great because it's a local facility.
A statement by Rushcliffe Borough Council reminds residents that, as with all applications of this nature, we formally consult technical consultees, ward members, parish councils and local residents. We cannot determine any application for the site until the master plan or SPD is in place. Although there is still no set date for services to be grounded at City Airport, January 31st is the deadline for residents to give their plain views on the plans. Jack Sims for Notts TV.
Now, dozens of drivers have been charged as part of a police operation targeting drink and drug driving. Nearly 50 motorists were charged during the first 3 weeks of a Nottinghamshire police operation called the Deadly Mix campaign. It uses a mixture of public engagement, education and enforcement. The force says between December the 1st and 19th, 91 people returned positive samples. It led to 46 people being charged with criminal offences, many others remaining under investigation. And police officers helped to save the life of a woman who was battling with mental health problems in Newark. Nottinghamshire Police's control room received a call in the early hours of December the 16th to reports of a woman in her 30s expressing suicidal thoughts. She said she was on a bridge in the town but didn't say where. Police managed to locate her in the dark and prevent her from taking her own life before she was taken to hospital for support. And as we mentioned in the show earlier on, anybody suffering with mental health who needs support can of course call Samaritans. The number is 116 123 or joe@samaritans.org is the email. Right, on the way we have got some very special guests to talk to. Hello, welcome back to Notts Today with me, Al. I hope you're well. This is what's happening in your news headlines today. People visiting Nottingham's hospitals over the New Year period will be able to park for free. Nottingham University Hospitals Trust, which runs the City Hospital and the Queen's Medical Centre, is lifting car park barriers from 4 p.m. on December the 31st, that's tomorrow, until 6 o'clock in the morning of Thursday, January the 2nd. The Trust says all patients and visitors can use car parks across both hospital sites free of charge during that time. And direct trains have resumed between Nottingham and London St Pancras after 9 days of improvement works came to an end. Rail operator East Midlands Railway was improving part of the Midland Main Line between the capital and Bedford, with works running between December the 21st and yesterday. That was December the 29th. It meant there were no EMR trains out of St Pancras over the festive period. Rail replacement bus services connected London and Bedford, but EMR confirmed a normal timetable has now resumed. Right, it's time to look at something we've discussed on the show this month, and that is, of course, Panto. We might have had our Christmas dinners and we might already have one eye on 2025, but this year's Peter Pantomime is still running for another 2 weeks. It's finishing at the Theatre Royal on January the 12th. Stars include Gok Wan and Paul Chuckle. Earlier this month, our reporter Daisy Jameson was given an exclusive behind-the-scenes look.
Panto, a tradition of laughter, extravagance and a dash of magic. This year the Theatre Royal is off to Neverland with their production of Peter Pan, starring Gok Wan, Paul Chuckle and Steve Hewlett. But behind the glitz and glamour of the stage, there's a world of chaos and creativity that makes the show come to life, and we've been granted exclusive access to hear how the stars are feeling behind the curtain.
I'm from Nottingham, so being back here on this side of things after having seen so many shows in the audience, and it's just so lovely. Everyone's great.
I've never been here before, never met any of these people before, so creating a family in a new place away from home is just something lovely to know that you can do and lovely to have.
But a show is only as good as the crew behind it, and company manager Martin Hutchinson says the effort of putting a panto together helps get the cast and crew into ship shape.
We spend so much time working intensely together and putting on this beautiful thing for an audience that actually it's really nice to celebrate the fact that we actually enjoy spending time with each other. You've seen it today. Everyone's warming up together. It is a real family feel on this show, and I'm so privileged that I get to manage that, because actually it's a beautiful thing. Panto season is this crazy thing. It's this whirlwind 6 weeks where we do the equivalent of a West End show, and we pull everyone together, and then in 6 weeks' time we all disappear and we never see each other again. And it's a really crazy mental thing. But for Christmas and New Year, we're each other's families.
With thousands of people expected to be packing out the Theatre Royal, they want to put on a show that's accessible to all, with British Sign Language interpreters like Donna Ruane ready to help translate the magic.
For Panto, it's so lovely because it's interactive, so it really encourages that. And we just see a lot of deaf community members coming along, having fun, being able to share it with both deaf and hearing members of their family and their friends. And it's just a great social kind of get-together for them.
Peter Pan is well underway and the show will continue up until the 12th of January, proving that this literary classic will never grow old. Daisy Jameson for Notts TV.
So what were we supposed to say?
They said something to Notts TV.
Right.
Merry Christmas!
Yeah, he said Merry Christmas, Notts TV.
Merry Christmas!
Happy New Year!
Woo!
You're so good at this.
Thank you, I'm trained.
There you go. That is one thing you can get up to at the Royal Centre throughout the start of January. My next guests, though, are here to talk about something else entirely, because the National Youth Orchestra of Great Britain is launching its 2025 season with its Illuminate tour next week. It's a 160-piece orchestra, and it's coming to Nottingham's Royal Concert Hall next Monday. That's January the 6th. Joining me now to talk through what you can expect is viola player Kylie Suzzetto from Nottingham and horn player Conrad Thorndyke from Pontyclun in Wales. Hello, thank you for coming on the show. First of all, before we talk to about you arriving in Nottingham, let's find out how you got involved with the youth orchestra. First of all, Kylie, how did you become involved?
I think I got involved through the Inspire program. I joined like a couple years before, and I found it really fun because it was really cool to play with a lot of orchestra players, and yeah, just generally sharing the knowledge of music and the fun and joy in it. And yeah, I got into NYO through like those audition processes, and it was all very smooth, and yeah, that's how I got into it.
Okay, what about you, Conrad?
I kind of got in through word of mouth, so I'd done loads of music courses with people before that had been in the NYO, and I kind of just thought, like, what an amazing opportunity. So then I auditioned. I was like, oh, why not? I might as well. I didn't get in the first time, but then auditioned the next time and got in. So yeah, I kind of just got in through word of mouth, basically.
Okay, that's two different ways of doing it. And so now you're in and you're about to set out on this huge tour. I mean, what's rehearsals been like? How long have you been rehearsing for Illuminate?
Well, they're quite strenuous, to be honest. So we rehearse kind of all day, every day, pretty much, from about, I don't know, 9:30 till 7.
Yeah.
So yeah, very tiring, very mentally challenging. But the conductors we've worked with, they're really great, and all the other people, absolutely fantastic. So yeah.
I mean, so it's a 160-piece orchestra. Kylie, do you get a chance to socialise? Do you know everyone? Because that's a lot of people.
Yeah, we try to have longer breaks and lunches so we can socialise with friends, and we do section night and we get to know each other, and we do a lot of icebreakers, warm-up, warm-downs. They give us a lot of time to talk to each other, and yeah, I think I know basically everyone. Yeah.
Because that's going to be really important as well, isn't it? If you're going on tour, you're all away from home together, you're all travelling together. Having that little community, that little bubble you can live in is going to be quite important, I guess.
Yeah.
Have you toured before with the orchestra, either of you?
No, it's my first time. This is my first year.
I have. I was in it last year as well. So yeah, I'm an experienced veteran by this point.
Experienced veteran, yeah. Yeah, you certainly know a bit more of what to expect. So Kylie, your first tour away from home then, your first, but how does it feel about coming back to Nottingham? Are you looking forward to that one?
Oh God. I'm really excited, you know. This is my first time being away like from home for like 10 days, which is a very long time. So it's really exciting to perform in the Nottingham Hall, great acoustics, and to just share the music with my local community and trying to inspire teenagers and free tickets for teens, a very important point. So yeah, we try to expand our musical circle and try to invite more teens, and I feel like it's very rewarding. And yeah.
Brilliant. Well, it's good to know free tickets for teens. That's important to get across. So tell us a bit about Illuminate then. What can we expect to see from it, Conrad?
Well, lots of really good music. So we are playing a piece called Catamorphosis by Icelandic composer Anna Thalsdottir, Bolero by Ravel, which I'm pretty sure is a piece that even if you're not a classical musician, you almost certainly will have heard. It's really well known. And Nielsen's Fourth Symphony, which is called The Inextinguishable. So yeah, loads of really good music. Should be action-packed, loads of great tunes.
Wow, so you're playing Bolero?
Yeah.
Wow, so Bolero, so obviously Torval and Dean danced to Bolero at the Olympics, and they are performing their last dance next year as well as Torval and Dean on the ice to that.
Like
maybe you can all if you got a pair of ice skates, all get your ice skates, maybe you can get on the ice, do it live. That would make some history. Yeah, and teens get in for free for that one as well, yeah?
We'll have to talk to someone about that.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. It's been really great to talk to you, and I wish you all the best for the tour as well for Illuminate.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, as we've discussed on the show over the last few weeks, we've also got the latest episode of the regional arts and culture show, Arts Pods, throughout the week. You can see it tomorrow night at 7:30 right here. It includes a chat with Tim Minchin and Dennis Kelly. They're the co-creators of Matilda the Musical. It comes to Nottingham's Art Theatre in May. Tim and Dennis spoke with journalist Rebecca Jones about how it all came together.
Looking back, could you have envisaged it would be the huge success that it's gone on to be?
Dennis,
we knew. We definitely
Dennis
we had
10
no
mil,
idea.
I reckon 10 mil.
If I can hit 5 mil, I'll be happy. No. I mean, we didn't know for a minute. Like, you know, we were doing a Christmas show at the RSC. You know what I mean? And so I don't think we really had a view of it being much more than. I think you and Matthew probably had a wiser thought about. You know, this could have a West End life, but because
Matthew Walsh is
the director, but because I mean, I was writing. My day job is to write grimy little plays that upset people. You know what I mean? And like, so
you do it so beautifully.
I was upset so many people. Not quite 12 million, but you know, a fair amount.
But yeah, it was just one of the projects you were working on.
But also, I didn't have context.
Right, let's take another look at your photo of the day, which is the shot of Wilford Toll Bridge taken by Mackenda Louise on Instagram. Time for your weather now. Tonight's going to get down to a nippy 8 degrees later in the night. Tomorrow it's going to start cloudy, and that's pretty much going to be the way it stays all day, reaching highs of 11 degrees. And then dropping to 6 degrees as we get into the New Year's Eve celebrations. But New Year's Day is going to be a wet one, unfortunately. No garden parties unless you've got big umbrellas. Highs of just 8 degrees, lots of rain, dropping to -1 into Thursday. Right, thank you for being here. Mark Shardlow is with you tomorrow. I'll see you in the new year. So until then, Happy New Year. Take care, I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.